Good morning. How are you? It's the morning after Nano. Bet you've got your book finished and you're excited and you're trying to figure out what you're going to do next. We're going to talk about that today. I'm not going to do any writing sprints this morning, but I am looking forward to talking about the next steps. Then I'm going to go back into them a little bit further tomorrow, but it won't be an early morning live stream. Uh, we'll talk about that too today. Honestly, your absolute very next step after you've finished your book, put it down, walk away. You're going to walk away because you want to give yourself some time to reflect a little bit on your book, to not be focused on it, to not have every word and every nuance and every thought just sitting in your mind. You want the opportunity to facilitate quality results for yourself. And if that's really your goal, well, it doesn't matter if you're publishing or you're not publishing, your next step is to walk away. And while you're out, away from your book, doing other things, enjoying family time, focusing on your job, focusing on anything else, your kids, your cats, your dogs, whatever it is, give yourself, I would honestly say you want to give yourself a couple weeks. Somebody gave me that advice right after I finished my first book. I didn't take it. I was so excited to have finished. I didn't take it. And that led to me rushing it through editors. And while the book went through a few editors, of course, it was brand new at this and didn't have the right understanding of a good editing relationship. And I've since found that and developed that, and I've had some practice now. I have a few editors that I work with, and that's important. A couple that I refer to constantly, and I've had a couple that are sometimes just too busy to even think about it. I love that there are so many that are available these days. But so after not taking the advice and not knowing what I was doing, my first book, while the story could tug on your heart and trigger tears, it was not very well packaged and delivered. And you never, ever want to put out a book that you have not done right. So give yourself some time. Don't worry about strategies. Don't worry about marketing. Don't worry about query letters or whatever you're going to be doing with your book. Just give yourself some time and some permission to step back and enjoy not writing for a couple of days. Or writing on a new project, which is entirely possible too. Writing on a new project, if that's what you want to do, you could start immediately. Just don't come back to this book that you finished for Nano right away. One of my regular habits is to, now that I have done this more than once, I finish a book, I do start on the next book, or usually, if it's a novel that I've finished, I write a short story. Currently, I think I've got like 7 different short stories I've got to process. Excuse me. And published. Most of them have been edited. So I'm going to be kind of spending most of December, getting them ready out, up in pre-order where they need to be, that kind of thing. It's a lot of fun when you are continuously creating good content that you can release on a steady and regular basis. Because you find you'll develop fans. Even if you like the concept of your story, there is somebody out there who will read it. I promise you. However, they're not going to read it as a draft. So as soon as you're done walking away for a few days, when you come back to it, you're going to sit down with fresh eyes and you're going to read. This is where revisions begin. And revisions are when you go through your first draft and you start to smooth it out. And you're going to smooth it out through a couple of methods. You're going to identify the things that you like about it. You're going to identify the things you don't like about it, things that stand out. And you're going to ask yourself some very important questions. For each of these scenes, you need to ask yourself, does this scene further develop the character? Does this scene further develop the story? And if the answer is no to both of those, then the next question is also, the answer to the next question is also no. And the next question is, do I need this scene? And the answer is no. If it does not accomplish a goal in your story, you don't need it, period. If it does not further your story, you don't need it. Take it out. And that's how you start your revisions. You determine where you're going to trim the fat. That's content-wise. Once you've gotten through content-wise, then we start working on the next step. And that's where the story, where the story really starts to come into better focus. Once you've determined you've taken out stories that, or scenes that don't apply, don't push the story or the characters forward, that don't contribute to your development, then we work on the next step. And this is where you start looking at sentence structure, your choices of words. Make sure that each sentence, each expression that your character says, each demonstration that they're doing, you're looking for consistencies in spelling, you're looking for consistencies in format, in the way you formatted their personality, the way you designed them, consistencies in your descriptions. So unless you've got a character that is constantly changing descriptions, it's very likely somewhere in your book you have a character who started off at the beginning of the book as a blonde, and maybe he had a barrel chest and a ponytail. And somewhere in the book, all of a sudden, that has vanished, and now he looks different. Maybe now he's an android for all you. Well, it would be me to make him an android. But these are things that you're looking for when you are looking for your consistencies in your structure. I apologize for the little tail that may show up. Worry about, and through that process, worry about the words your characters have used, because the words your characters have used denotes their tone. I don't know if you've noticed, you've always got friends that say certain things, and family that say certain things, and you have certain expressions that you repeat all the time, and ways about you that are yours. And that's what you want your characters to have. That's how you make them grounded and real. So you're going to look at something, and you might see that Betty in the very beginning found that she really liked saying right from the horse's mouth. I know it's cliche, but it was the first thing that came to mind. So she likes saying right from the horse's mouth, and that's a common expression. And so you find 2 other opportunities for her to say it through the book. That helps to develop consistency and individuality in the character. So this is, just some of the things that you're going to look for in your revisions. This is your early stages. Don't even start it on the revisions for a couple of days. Going forward, My schedule is going to return to a daytime schedule instead of an early morning schedule. The early morning is just for Nano, and so I will do that again next November. And again, I will do it for a full 30 days. You will see me, assuming whether compliant or whether beneficial, and no one gets sick. We will be doing that for 30 days. Uh, just so that everybody has an early morning. Let's get up and go. 8 a.m. Central Time, probably Mondays and Fridays. I will go live to talk. We'll talk writing. I will have a guest on occasion. I have at least one person in mind that we've already begun talking about making that happen. And he would like to come on and discuss time management. So if you've got any specific questions or ideas, I'd love to hear them. I'm also looking at talking to my one of my favorite editors to have them come on, offer some suggestions. Over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be addressing the next steps of writing a book, the decision making process, where you go from here. I'm going to tell you, I didn't go traditional because I like control of my work. I like the learning process. And I like developing my brand, my business. And if I'm going to do that, regardless of whether or not I have a company telling me how to write my book or how to edit my book or what changes need to come to my book, then I'd rather do it on my own. But that's me. You have to find the one that's right for you, and we'll talk about some of the methods of doing that. And so the next month, probably December through January, more than likely we'll be talking about book development and how to find the right cover artist for you. And I'll have a couple of recommendations how to find the right fit for what you can afford right from the beginning. And assuming that you are not a beginner, you've been at this for a while, I bet we could have a great discussion. So that'll be 8:30 Monday and Friday for all of December and into January. And I am looking forward to talking to you then. Bye bye.